Now here's the point. Jesus delays the miracle not because he doesn't like the family, not even because he's indifferent about their situation. He delays precisely because he cares. And he knows that this delay is good for Mary, it's good for Martha, and it's going to be good for Lazarus. It's going to be good for those who are present on the day when he shows up. It is going to be good for everybody who ever hears the testimony of Lazarus. It is going to be good for anybody who ever picks up the Gospel of John throughout the rest of humanity. Sometimes Jesus delays in relieving our suffering because he loves us. That's a category buster for many of us here this morning. Most of us think the only way love should be expressed is in making my life easier, more comfortable, more amusing. But sometimes when our life is easier and more comfortable, it actually only leads to this short-term flippant happiness, which in the end will produce more grief and despair in our lives. I mean, just last week, the high school students and I were speaking about this. I asked them, when do you feel like you most need God? And we were talking about spending time with God and things like that. And invariably, every one of them said, I always realize I need God when life is going bad. When life is going good, I should be spending time with God, but life's good. Thanks, God. And they just kind of go on with their lives. But it's when suffering enters in where they really think about what matters in life. They were so busy enjoying God's blessings before, they no longer even enjoyed God. Temporary joys had seized their attention away from their eternal joy. And so suffering comes into our lives like an earthquake. And it has a way of shaking and breaking down every temporary shelter that we have taken refuge in. And when that happens, all that remains is what's eternal and what's secure. And so therefore we run to Christ. Now that doesn't make suffering good. Don't mishear me. There will be no suffering in heaven. Amen? Amen. Suffering is evil. It is banned from heaven. Earthquakes are not good. And yet, they do clarify what's temporary and what's permanent. What's truly stable. Every single one of us is so prone to take God's good gifts and make them into idols. And so in the removal of these blessings, it's in the presence of suffering where we begin to think soberly and rationally that only God can truly satisfy what I've been looking for all along in my life. It's actually in the fog of suffering that we gain clarity of purpose. It's in the storm where we realize that our man-made shelters won't hold. And it's in the darkest depths of the valley where we finally realize how good and how valuable the Good Shepherd really is. And because God knows what you need to be satisfied more than anybody else, one of the reasons, out of the many, he allows suffering into your life so that you can find satisfaction and renewal in him. Because he cares about you.